Yuta Akatsu, the man deemed second to Gojo in unusual abilities, and I have recently found out in the Japanese translation it is meant to specify that he is second to Gojo. Moreover, Gojo has put him on a pedestal and deemed him as potentially the next Satoru Gojo. However, Kenjaku does not seem to think so and does not understand what the hype is all about with Yuta. He states his boundless and cursed energy and ability to copy techniques is only due to the result of him having to detain his loved one's soul, and ends with Yuta Akatsu cannot be the next Satoru Gojo. But before we discuss why potentially Kenjaku doesn't see Yuta as a major threat, why does Gojo have faith in Yuta? First, he's a descendant from the Sugiwara clan, being of the same lineage of that of Gojo. Uro also states that he has lineage to that of the Fujiwara clan, and him coming from two well-known clans shows he isn't your average run-of-the-mill sorcerer. Moreover, he was a student with no knowledge of Jujutsu and subconsciously cursed Rika, created the Queen of Curses as a vengeful spirit. This is crazy and one of the major reasons why Yuta is a dangerous sorcerer, as well as being able to learn Jujutsu within the short span of 6 months. He also beat Gojo, one of the 4 special grades and a dangerous curse user, who stated that with Rika he could defeat Gojo Satoru. Furthermore, Yuta, with a significant lack of knowledge on Jujutsu, managed to defeat said special grade in his first real major fight, and he could use his curse technique of mimicry, learn reverse curse technique, as well as output reverse curse technique to save Panda and Maki, which is something even Gojo Satoru can't do himself, as well as use binding vows to strengthen the love beam against Gojo, and he was later then demoted to rank 4 after the fight against the special grade. After the night parade of 100 demons, in 3 months he ascended to special grade, and we hear he also did some training with Miguel to improve battle tactics and his knowledge on Jujutsu. This led to his knowledge of Jujutsu significantly increasing, and he has become a more competent as a fighter. His now current arsenal, he has the Queen of Curses as a Shikigami, has a domain expansion, boundless curse energy, can output his RCT more efficiently, and has improved his hand-to-hand combat and his curse energy reinforcement. Moreover, he can store curse tools in Rika, and at this moment of time I'm assuming his ability of mimicry is unconditional, giving the ability to copy curse techniques. In the brief fights we've seen him, he showed insane feats to back up Gojo's statements. First encounter with Yuji/Naoya, Yuji mistakes him for being Gojo, and Naoya is literally shaking in his boots at the sight of Yuta. And Choso highlights how dangerous he is and tells Yuji to run away from Yuta. Yuta, while holding back, then manages to kill Yuji and revive him at the same time, which is insanity. Moreover, Yuji states that if he's to lose control, he believes that Yuta can defeat 15 Finger Sukuna. In the free-for-all fight in Sendai, he used RCT multiple times, highlights how insane his curse energy reserves are, and after summoning Rika, Yuta did not get touched once in the fight while dealing with 2 other special grade sorcerers in Ryu and Uro, while not trying to kill them respectively because he wanted to collect points for the culling game. Ability to come out of that high stakes fatal 4-way with Kururushi, Ryu and Uro highlights not only his battle intelligence, but his willingness to get the job done at all costs while still not trying to kill the respective members. It just highlights how strong Yuta is. These feats warrant the hype that Gojo has for him, but why does Kenjaku sleep on Yuta? First, it starts off his initial concern with Yuta, with he believes that his boundless curse energy and him detaining Rika is the source of his strength. Moreover, Yuta's 5-minute time limit to be at his maximum strength can be seen as a significant weakness, especially against the top tier sorcerers who do not seem to have a glaring condition attached to their strength. Sukuna is only limited by Yuji being able to take over as a vessel, but in strength is unmatched. Gojo is well sealed, but a strength is far beyond anybody in the verse but 20 Finger Sukuna. as well as Kenjaku has an immortal technique which allowed him to gain curse spirit manipulation, in which he has a lot of high level curses such as Mahito, giving him access to broken techniques such as ideal transfugation. We can also infer potentially cursing Rika has capped part of his potential, with him now having that 5-minute limit. She can only access his curse techniques during those 5 minutes. And the difference between base Yuta and Rika plus Yuta is pretty significant. Moreover, Kenjaku states that Gojo could have won if he used his full arsenal of curses against Yuta. He split his forces, meaning Gojo would have ended Yuta before he could get as strong as he could. And the final section is his mentality. He doesn't share the same level of individuality of people such as Gojo and Sukuna, and he doesn't even take any pleasure in fighting at all compared to those aforementioned sorcerers. A strong sense of ego is what he has been pushed a lot throughout the series, and I'm interested to see whether Yuta can be that anomaly that pushes through, or he will fail through the same mindset of not being able to reach that level of individuality to fight against the top. The fight against Ryu, where he says justice once, could be an indication to him beginning to change his mindset, and it was an important piece of characterization for Yuta. Finally, the supposed fated battle of Kenjaku versus Yuta, with Yuta saying he will kill Kenjaku himself and gain 400 points. It seems as if the story is foreshadowing a clash between the two dangerous sorcerers. At this moment of time, I would give the edge to Kenjaku to beat Yuta due to a few reasons. One, like mentioned before, curse spirit manipulation is overpowered, and Kenjaku's knowledge of Jujutsu far surpasses majority of the people in the verse, bar maybe Sukuna. We also know from the data book he can use reverse curse technique. However, we don't know if he can output it, but the ability to have strong level curses such as Mahito, as well as Furushi, which he has freed in the Sendai colony fight. It means he has a huge arsenal of curses that he can delay Yuta's biggest weakness being the 5-minute limit with Rika. We are still unsure on whether Kenny has a domain. However, him being the second strongest barrier technique user, I'm inclined to assume he does, and we also haven't seen what Yuta domain does. But even if he was to said not to have one, we saw indications of him using previous curses like the smallpox deity that could use domain expansions themselves, which gives him a whole new level of versatility. However, for the most part, I give the edge to Kenjaku due to narrative implications. However, this will be a clash I'm anticipating very much. However, with all that said, we haven't seen Yuta go all out, nor have we seen him reach his full potential. There are still many question marks in regard to his curse technique, whether it's unconditional or not. What is his domain expansion? Can he find a way to summon Rika without a restriction and have access to his curse technique all the time, similar to that back in Volume 0? These are all important questions which can highly change the narrative. However, I don't believe Kenjaku is necessarily sleeping on Yuta because he seems very confident and meticulous within his plan. Does that not mean he will end up being wrong? Because we see multiple times in the series where characters have slept on others due to arrogance and end up paying the price. Gojo. However, regardless of this, I think there's still a lot to come from Yuta, and it could potentially surpass Kenjaku's expectations in the future. However, from what we've seen right now, I do believe Kenjaku has good reason to have brief doubts of Yuta Okkotsu. Not necessarily to the extent of him not seeing him as an issue. However, I do believe there is some small weaknesses in Yuta's current arsenal against some of the strongest characters in regards to Kenjaku and Sukuna that could potentially put him at a disadvantage when we see those eventual clashes. But what do you guys think? Do you think that Kenjaku is sleeping on him, or do you think that he has no reason to do so? Regardless of your opinion, let me know down below. And make sure to obviously like, comment, share, subscribe. Also check out the affiliate links down below for different anime merchandise. And thank you guys for watching.